General. On Rafah, have your Israeli counterparts notified you that the invasion of Rafah is ending soon?
I'm not. So first of all, what I'm tracking right now in Rafah is we still continue to see Israel along the Philadelphia line. They continue to conduct some limited operations into Rafah to go after Hamas units and leaders. We have not seen a large-scale, you used the word invasion, we have not seen a large-scale ground operation at this point. We're continuing to monitor that. Again, we've been very clear about what our expectations are in terms of safeguarding civilians. I do know that a significant number of civilians have relocated to elsewhere in Gaza. That said, this continues to be a topic of discussion between our leadership and Israeli leaders when it comes to conducting operations both within Rafah but also throughout Gaza.
And last week I asked you about the civilian toll from the Nusayrat operation that Israel conducted to rescue 4 hostages. This happened with U.S. support, intelligence, and logistics, as Sullivan acknowledged. Have you looked into the number of civilians that were killed during the operation, while noting that the Secretary, yourself, and the department have expressed many times concern about human toll because of these because of the Israeli operation?
Yeah, I don't have any updates to provide in terms of estimated civilian casualties, other than, again, we do know that there were civilian casualties as a part of that operation. I think the last time we spoke, and this hasn't changed, we continue to see 2 different numbers being put out by the Israelis versus Hamas. I don't know what the facts are, other than there's an acknowledgement that there were civilian casualties as part of that operation. But again, in all of our discussions, we continue to expect and encourage the Israelis to take civilian casualties into account. Again, recognizing also what we talked about last time was the fact that this was a hostage rescue, that you have civilians, you have hostages being held among the civilian population by an armed terrorist group, Hamas, certainly exacerbating the tensions and the challenging situation here. So we're going to continue to expect civilian casualties to be taken into account, civilian harm mitigation to be taken into account going forward. No one wants to see any innocent civilians killed in this crossfire, whether they be Palestinians or Israelis.
On this, but this is an operation that the U.S. supported with logistics and intelligence, and it led to high civilian casualties according to local authorities in Gaza, more than 280. And as a matter of fact, you've been expressing concern about civilian casualties. Doesn't this require a look from the department into what actually happened, since you will as well vowing to keep supporting Israel in its efforts to rescue the captives or hostages?
Yeah, and just to clarify here, again, the U.S. was not a part of this military operation. We were not militarily involved. We did not have forces that participated. And again, broadly speaking, when it comes to Israel's hostage recovery efforts, we've said that we are supportive and in terms of providing intelligence information. But when it comes to this specific operation, again, we were not involved in conducting or executing or planning this particular operation.
You supported the operation.
Well, we support Israel's inherent right to defend itself against Hamas. And again, we've recognized and acknowledged that way too many civilians have died in this conflict, and we're going to continue to encourage and expect our Israeli partners to take civilian harm into account as they're conducting the operations. I'll just leave it at that. Let me get to some other folks here. Yep.
Hi. About the Fort Liberty and other Carolina forts getting the solar factories or solar farms. It's part of a Biden administration executive order that's planning for 100% clean energy to power the federal government by 2030. What % of the way to 100% is the Defense Department? And in terms of the cost of these solar farms to power the bases, is it better financially for the department to use the solar power rather than, go the traditional forms of energy?
Yeah, let me take that question and we'll come back to you. Okay.